All right, we have the best regular season NFL week in the history of NFL. I'm convinced. We have Joe Burrow versus Lamar. We have Mahomes versus Herbert. That's basically a playoff game for the Chiefs. If they lose that, their season is officially done. If they beat the Chargers have a tough schedule going forward. We have Bills, Patriots. That's for the division. Those are two playoff teams. We have Packers, Broncos in the 4 o'clock slate. We have Lions, Rams in the 4 o'clock slate. Those are two playoff teams. Colts, Seahawks with a grandpa making his return to the NFL in Phillip Rivers. Those are both playoff teams, by the way. There are so many different storylines going into this game. There's so much playoff implications going into this week. We're going to break down all of it. What an electric NFL slate. We'll stop at the top with my New York Jets, and we will make this quick. Brady Cook is the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. The Jets' run defense is 29th in the NFL. If you go back and look at the Jaguars games that they have lost, they have not been able to run the ball efficiently. I promise you they'll be able to run the ball pretty well against my Jets, who traded the middle of their defense. Quinnen Williams was the middle of their defense. Quincy Williams has been banged up. Jamean Sherwood has regressed from last season. And when you look at this Jaguars team, they've won 4 straight, 3-1 against the spread in that span, including three-possession wins against the Chargers, the Titans, and the Colts. 2 of those teams are potential. The Jags have been balling. Trevor Lawrence has also been playing very well since they acquired Jacoby Myers. The Jets secondary is injured, and it is thin. Take the Jags minus 13.5. Also, for a recap of the whole year, since week 4, which is when I started keeping track, just picking every single game against the spread, we are 128 and 103. That is electric. But over the past few weeks, it's been 9-8, 3-2, 7-7-1. We gotta start stacking some more W's here. We gotta start stacking some more W's, and that starts with the Jags minus 13.5. Browns, Bears, keep it quick. Shedeur Sanders is a spread hunter. He's got spread hunter in him. Right here. Shedeur covering the spread. When he has time in the pocket, he can carve. And the Bears do not have a great pass rush. The Titans didn't have a good pass rush last week. We saw what happened when Shedeur has time. Bears pass rush, not good. Their defense is great at creating turnovers, but when they aren't creating turnovers, teams have had no problem moving the ball against this Bears team. They're a bottom 6 total defense in the NFL. They're also allowing 5.1 yards per carry, and their linebackers have been banged up. Their secondary is prone to a missed tackle here and there. Quinshon Judkins is an absolute animal. So expect Quinshon to have a pretty decent day. And on the flip side of that, the Browns defense is elite. They're allowing 3.8 yards per carry, which is the second lowest in the NFL. And this Bears offense has been leaning on that elite run game with Swift and Monangai, especially over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So if the Browns can slow down this Bears run game, make Caleb Williams have to drop back, let Myles Garrett pin his ears back, get after the passer, Mason Graham and company, and if Shedeur Sanders has time in the pocket, doesn't turn the ball over, I think the Browns can cover this 7.5-point spread. Give me Cleveland plus the points. Shedeur will cover the spread. Ravens, Bengals. Baltimore, 2.5-point favorites. Both these defenses suck. I think the Bengals match up very good with this Ravens team. We saw that a few weeks ago where they blew them out on Thanksgiving on Sunday Night Football. Joe Burrow is playing tremendously better than Lamar Jackson. Both these defenses aren't good. The Ravens defense is better in the secondary, but it's not exactly elite, but outside of Marlon Humphrey. And where the Bengals offense is weak is on their offensive line. The Bengals don't have a pass rush, but their secondary is not complete. They're not complete bums back there with Dax Hill and DJ Turner. They can match up with Zay Flowers. They can match up with Rashad Bateman. They can match up with Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. So I think the passing game might be a little harder it will be harder for the Ravens than it will be for Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because Joe Burrow is going to have time, and it's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins against Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, TJ Tampa. That's barbecue chicken. That's barbecue chicken, ladies and gentlemen. Where the Ravens do have an advantage, though, is that the Bengals are allowing 5 yards per carry, so we could be in for a Derrick Henry masterclass if the Ravens were to win this game. But I like the Bengals in this game. I like the Bengals plus the points. I think they match up better. I think Joe Burrow you can trust him way more than you can trust Lamar Jackson right now. And if Joe Burrow has time in the pocket, he's going to pick you apart, and he will have time in the pocket because the Ravens pass rush is non-existent. I also like the over in this game. I don't even know what it is. I think it's like 48.5, something like that. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. It is 51.5. Still love it. Both these defenses suck. They're prone to a shootout. Jamar Chase player props are always a good bet against the Baltimore Ravens as well. He likes to cook them. Like last year, he had like 500 yards in 2 games against the Ravens. So give me the Bengals plus 2.5 and give me the over 51.5 in this Ravens-Bengals game. Let's move on. Chargers, Chiefs. It's crazy. Like, this slate is loaded, and Ravens Bengals is like both these teams are probably like there's a chance they both miss the playoffs, but it's Lamar versus Burrow. Like that's why this week is loaded, because even though like you have games where it's a matchup against two teams that aren't in the playoffs currently, but it's Lamar versus Burrow, so it's must see TV. It's just so many great games this week. Chargers Chiefs being the next one. I am a Mahomes Glazer, Mahomes Dick Rider. That is evident at this point. But the Chiefs have done nothing to deserve to be 5.5 point favorites. And as a degenerate gambler, when a team has done nothing to be favored by as much as they're favored by, that means that Vegas is up to no good here. That means that Vegas is up to no good. That means Vegas knows something, and I don't trust my gut enough. I would think the Chiefs would be like 2.5 point favorites. With that logic, that means you take the Chargers plus 5.5. But why are they 5.5 point favorites? That makes zero sense. Justin Herbert cooked the Chiefs in Brazil the first week of the season. Granted, he did have an offensive line, kind of. Rashawn Slater was obviously a season-ending injury before the season started, and then. But now it's no Joe Alt, no Trey Pipkins, no Mekhi Becton, no Zion Johnson. The whole Chargers offensive line is eviscerated, but the Chiefs don't have a pass rush either way outside of Chris Jones. Georgia Karlaftis is questionable. He's been average at best this season either way. Chris Jones has been heating up as of late. The interior of the Chargers offensive line isn't even that good healthy. The strengths are in the tackle position. So maybe Chris Jones can get some interior pressure, get Justin Herbert off his spot. He did just get sacked 7 times against the Eagles. But then again, the Eagles pass rush is way better than the Chiefs. So I don't understand how the Chiefs are 5.5 point favorites, which means you have to take them. Give me the Chiefs minus 5.5. Because this game's throwing me for a loop here, ladies and gentlemen. Not gonna lie. If you couldn't tell, it makes no sense. That's why you have to take it. That's why you have to take it. Chiefs minus 5.5. They get their season back on track. I really hope Patrick Mahomes makes the playoffs. I really do. I really do. I had a bad habit of going through my old reposts and around Super Bowl time last year, because I obviously there's a lot of new listeners back then. Back then, I was very in on the Chiefs to repeat. Let's just say that. Bad day for Devin. Bad day for DSOC. Bad day for Fire Sports Takes when the Eagles put belt to ass to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Not only for the morale, not only for my comments section, but also for the bank account, because I was all over Patrick Mahomes. And if you look at my TikTok reposts, you can tell. You can tell. Because when it was February, it was about 7 straight electric Patrick Mahomes edits. And let me tell you, they were electric. I was watching them again today, and I'm thinking to myself, get this guy in the playoffs, look the fuck out. Either way, Bills at Patriots. The Bills are 1.5 point favorites. The Bills being 1.5 point favorites against the New England Patriots when it's in Gillette makes absolutely zero sense. The Patriots have the better defense. They have the better coach. Drake May's playing better than Josh Allen is this season. Beat him head to head, even though it's not a one-on-one game. Drake May went into Buffalo and outplayed Josh Allen on Sunday Night Football in prime time. The Bills didn't lose at home all of last year. So I would say Drake May's playing better football than Josh Allen right now. They have the better head. I'm taking Vrabel over McDermott 10 times out of 10. And they have the better defense than Buffalo, because their Buffalo defense averages 5 yards per carry. We just saw what Joe Burrow did in the first 3.5 quarters against his Bills defense last week. He was absolutely carving them apart in the snow. Christian Benford's a good player. He made an incredible play. He hasn't been the same guy in coverage that he was last year. Maxwell Harrison's still a rookie. I think Keyshawn Boutte, Stephon Diggs, the way McDaniels schemes these guys open, I love the Patriots. I love the Patriots offense against this Bills defense. That's without talking about Travion Henderson when the Bills are allowing 5.5 yards per carry. So give me the Patriots. They shouldn't be underdogs in this game at home. Makes no sense. Better coach, better defense, hotter quarterback, hotter team. The Pats plus 1.5. I like the Patriots as a Jets fan. I'm saying that as a Jets fan. That hurts. That hurts the soul. All right, let's sprint through some of these stinkers. Commanders at Giants. Commanders defense sucks. Jackson Dart is very good. Giants defense can't stop the run. The Commanders rushing attack is very efficient. My only pick in this game is the over 46.5. And I know I was talking about those other games in this slate, but when you look at Commanders Giants, that game could be very fun with Marcus Mariota and Jack. Like that game screams 35-33 game-winning field goal in the fourth quarter. Like that could be a fun game once the witching hour rolls along here on Sunday for sure. Raiders at Eagles. Eagles are 11.5 point favorites. Give me the Eagles. I mean, good get-right spot here for Philadelphia. And the thing with the Raiders defense is their run D is better than their pass defense. So let Jalen Hurts drop back and just tee off. I'm talking 35 pass attempts in this game. Let's get Jalen Hurts back on track with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. This should be a confidence booster for Philly. You need to just let them air it out. full spread offense. Let Jalen Hurts dissect, get his confidence back right before you get into the final stretch of the season where they have a favorable schedule. I don't know who else they play, but I know they play the Commanders 2 times. You got to just air it out against this Raiders defense that does not have the guys to cover Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, and A.J. Brown, or even Saquon out of the back. They don't. They don't. And they do have Max Crosby. That's it. Slide protection his way. Keep Jalen Hurts protected. Air it out. Get Jalen Hurts' confidence back up for this final stretch of the season. There's no reason the Eagles don't beat this team by at least 2 touchdowns. And I doubt this Raiders offense will be able to move the ball against this Eagles defense that just turned over Justin Herbert a couple of times and held them to like 6 field goals or whatever it was from Dicker the kicker. So I love the Eagles in this game. I think if you are this Eagles offense, if you're Kevin Patullo, just let Jalen Hurts free, man. Let him run free. Let him air it out. Let him stat pad. Let him get the confidence back up so you can go into the final stretch. You can get in the final stretch of the season on a really, really, really high note. Cardinals at Texans. Houston are 9.5-point favorites. I like Arizona in this spot here. I feel like this is a good time to sell high on the Texans a little bit. The Cardinals defense isn't horrible either, especially on the offensive line with Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan, who's been good when he's played so far this season. He started the year with an injury, rookie from Ole Miss. And the Texans offensive line, obviously bad. The Texans offense as a whole is bad. The Texans defense is the greatest in the NFL, the greatest of the 2020s so far. But they are coming off a bit of a gauntlet. Chiefs, Colts, there was another playoff team in there. I can't remember who it was. I think the Jaguars, maybe somebody else. They're coming off of a gauntlet at least. So it's a little bit of a letdown spot against the Cardinals team that is more talented than the 3 wins that they have to show for it. And Jacoby Brissett also has been playing some tremendous ball. I think the Cardinals are worth a little sprinkle on the money line here, quarter unit, but give me Arizona plus 9.5. All right, the bangers of the 4 o'clock slate: Packers at Broncos. Green Bay is 2.5-point favorites on the road. 2 of the best defenses in football. 2 of the best pass rushes in football, 2 of the best pass blocking offensive lines in football. It just boils down in this Packers-Broncos game. Which quarterback do you trust more, Bo Nix or Jordan Love? I don't know how you can't say Jordan Love, especially with the way that he's been playing as of late. 7-1 touchdown interception ratio over the last 2 games, 22-4 touchdown interception ratio on the season so far, the second best in the league behind Matthew Stafford. Jordan Love has been playing incredible ball. Christian Watson coming back has been electric. They got Jaden Reed back last week. These are 2 very similar teams that lean on their pass rush on the defensive side of the ball. And I do think the Broncos defense is more well-rounded than this Packers defense, but I also trust this Packers offense way more than I trust the Broncos offense simply because of Bo Nix. And the Broncos have been in close games all season long. They can't afford to start slow the way they have been against a team like the Packers, because that doesn't give your defensive line a chance to pin its ears back and get after Jordan Love. But the thing is, the Broncos have been starting out so slow. They're going to need to disrupt Jordan Love if they want a chance in this game, especially in the fourth quarter. Because if this game gets away from them quickly, I don't know if Bo Nix has a 14-point comeback in him against the Packers. I know he did it against the Giants, but is Jordan Love going to put the ball in harm's way the way Jackson Dart did in that Broncos game? I would lean no, especially with the way he's been taking care of the football this season. And if you can't get this pass rush going, if you get out to a early deficit against a team like the Packers that can run the ball with Josh Jacobs, and the Broncos defense, they're not weak, but they're weaker against the run than they are against the pass. So I think you got to be on the Packers, just with the way the Broncos have been starting out games and the way Jordan Love has been taking care of the football and the way Bo Nix has been putting the ball in harm's way. I trust this Packers offense, and they have one of the better pass blocking offensive lines as well. You're not going to stop. You're not going to eliminate this Broncos pass rush. Like, they're going to be there. But at the same time, if you can get out to an early lead like teams have been able to do against the Broncos, since their offense likes to start out slow, then I think that gives you a chance to just lean on Josh Jacobs in the run game, negates this Broncos pass rush a little bit because you don't have to pass the ball as much. So I love the Packers first half spread. I love the Packers halftime, full time, and I like the Packers minus 2.5. Packers heavy today. And this is going to, listen, there's Broncos fans that think I'm just a Bo Nix hater. I promise you that is not the case. But I think the Packers, on paper, have a roster that can go toe-to-toe with the Broncos, and they unequivocally, Jordan Love is the better quarterback. Lions at Rams. The Rams are 6-point favorites. Pressure Jared Goff, you win the game. Shout out this Lions offensive line. They did a great job protecting Jared Goff against this Cowboys defense that's number 1 in pressure rate. They did a great job, and Jared Goff carved them up. The Rams are top 5 in sacks and QB pressures. They're also tied for 4th in yards per carry. Allowed to slow down David Montgomery, slow down Jahmyr Gibbs, get pressure on Jared Goff. You win the game. I think the Rams are just an all-around way better roster. They have a better defense. And then offensively, I'm taking their weapons over the Lions' weapons. I'm taking their offensive line this season over their Lions' offensive line. Matt Stafford is playing at a way higher level than Jared Goff. I think a lot of people are going to see this 6-point spread as well. I think Vegas made it. Listen, this is another thing. I feel like I'm starting to understand Vegas a little bit. They're making them 6-point favorites to think, oh, Jared Goff against his old team. This is just how the public better thinks. This is how I used to think because I'm a degenerate. And I'm also wrong. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But the Lions, Rams, people are going to think, oh, it's Jared Goff against his old team. He's going to cover the spread at least. But the Rams are just a way better football team than the Lions, who have struggled against some of the better competition so far this year. And it really hasn't been close either, except for that Cowboys game. But the Cowboys have also gotten blown out by good competition as well. They got blown out by the Bears. They got blown out by the Broncos. So, that Cowboys team was a little bit of a paper tiger, I think, and we all fell for it, myself included. The defense was not as good as we all thought it was after the trade deadline because the Lions ripped through them. So, I like the Rams in this spot here. The Lions are coming off of a mini bye, so that is worth noting as well. But just, I'm obsessed with Matthew Stafford. The way they lose this game is if Matthew Stafford plays a similar way that he did against the Panthers. That's really all it is. I don't think he'll do that. Stafford only has 4 interceptions. He's just unbelievable. The Rams don't turn the ball over. 6th in the league in total turnovers. Give me the Rams -6 in this game. Panthers at Saints, so they will just rip through the rest of these pretty easily. I'm a believer in the Shuck show. You guys know that. Give me Tyler Shuck. Listen, I wrote this down in my notes. I don't know if it's true, so I'm going to fact check myself really quickly. Shuck is 2-0 against the NFC South as a starter. That's what I have written down here because he just beat the Bucks. Pretty sure he beat the. Oh no, he lost to the Falcons. So yeah, I'm wrong. 2-1 then. It's 2-1 as a starter against the NFC South. He beat the Panthers already. He has the Panthers again this week. Why not? Why not twice? Give me the Shuck show +2.5. I've already gone on my rants about Tyler Shuck plenty of time on this podcast, so I'll save you guys the trouble. But I think he is the most underrated quarterback in football. Titans at Niners. 12.5 is a big number to lay, but I'm laying it every time here with San Francisco. Offense is fully healthy. It's one of the best offenses in football, and they are healthy. The Titans are 30th or worse in every major offensive category. Shamire Dike and Alec Maynor are your wide receiver 1 and 2 with one of the worst offensive lines in football. I don't think this defense will be able to stop the San Francisco offense whatsoever. San Francisco wins 40-10. Give me the Niners -12.5. And then the Phillip Rivers game. Listen, this is another situation kind of similar to the Lions. I think the Colts are going to get a lot of money on them as the week continues. If Phillip Rivers does get announced the starter, which he might have been already at the time you're listening to this, dude's a literal grandpa. Phillip Rivers is a literal grandpa. He's a grandfather. Hasn't played a snap in 4 years, going against the top 3 defense on a team that is reeling and had trouble protecting Daniel Jones against some elite pass rushes. Remember, against the Steelers, Daniel Jones got sacked 5 times, turned the ball over 6 times in that game. He took a beating. Seahawks also have the 2nd best run defense in football, so just sell out to stop Jonathan Taylor. Make Phillip Rivers beat you. That sounds like a pretty solid game plan in 2025. Phillip Rivers might get killed. Listen, I'm all for his return. I hope he balls out. I hope Phil goes out there and lights it up for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. That would be the greatest thing in the whole world. The odds of him throwing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns are slim to none. Even if it's Riley Leonard, I would be less nervous. I'm more nervous that it's Phil than it is than Riley Leonard. But the Seahawks defense is elite. The Colts defense is also banged up. Seahawks -13.5 against the grandpa. What are we doing here? I'm excited to watch Phillip Rivers. I'm happy he's back. I just don't want him to die. Vikings at Cowboys. If you're new here, we call JJ McCarthy JJ McDogshit, but that name is here's what I'll say about JJ. JJ McDogshit is under temporary partial review because of how he played last week. If he plays good against this Cowboys defense, he'll be just under temporary review, not temporary partial review. And then he'll need to do one more performance before we actually are reviewing the nickname JJ McDogshit. And then if he has one more good performance after that, we might call him his real name. And then if he has one more performance after that, we'll call him 9 again. So he is 5 good performances away from the nickname 9. He's 4 good performances away from not being called JJ McDogshit. So uphill battle, but here's a good matchup for JJ McDogshit to make a statement against a Cowboys defense that just got gashed by Jared Goff and the Lions. So give me the Cowboys -5.5, though. I will not bet on JJ McDogshit until his name is at least back to JJ McCarthy. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe on YouTube. And I'll catch you guys on the next week's edition of the NFL Week Preview. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button.